Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, and despite Derby weekend creeping up on us, Celtic keep giving us things to talk about because today we have some massive news regarding our Adidas kit deal to go over. We've also got the first pictures of our new Celtic home shirt for the 2025-26 campaign, and we also heard the first rumours of potential Dyson Maeda interest. And it's from some big boys, if to be believed. So, stay with me. No Derby chat quite yet, but we've got bigger fish to fry. If you haven't already, please make sure to hit like and subscribe. We are less than 900 subscribers away from 50,000 subs. Let's do it. Let's do it before the end of the season. Go down below, hit both of those buttons. Shall we start the day with Celtic's big news surrounding the Adidas kit deal and how we should expect them to make our home, away and third shirts for the foreseeable future? So Celtic have confirmed we have signed the biggest kit deal in the club's history off the back of that initial 5-year deal, which was record-breaking at the time in 2019. We have our extension, it's bigger and better, and Celtic released this on the club website this morning that Celtic and Adidas have agreed a long-term partnership extension. Celtic Football Club is delighted to announce a landmark extension of our partnership with Adidas, continuing our journey together as the club's official kit supplier. The new long-term agreement will see Adidas continuing to deliver world-class designs for our first team and training wear across both the men and women's squads. They will also continue to create the fan wear that unites our incredible supporters under the iconic green and white. Adidas is the trusted supplier of football's most prestigious tournaments like the World Cup, the Euros and Champions League, as well as its great association with Celtic. The brand obviously represents the likes of Real Madrid, Man United, Arsenal, Bayern Munich and Juventus. For Celtic, the extension of this partnership with such a world-renowned brand, it cements the club's place as an iconic name in sport globally. Michael Nicholson went on to speak about the deal and how significant it is. He said in that statement that it is significant for Celtic. It's the biggest official kit supplier partnership in the club's history, and one we are sure will delight our supporters worldwide, allowing us to look to the future together with confidence. And Adidas have also commented saying they're delighted to continue the partnership, and I'm sure they will be, considering Celtic were one of the top 20 selling clubs over the past year in world football with the shirt sales. We're a popular bunch, what can be said? So I know what you're thinking, the statement's all very well and good, but how much money are Celtic seeing in this deal? How long is this deal going to last? Well, sit yourselves down, because if you're not a fan of Adidas, which I've made perfectly clear I've been critical of them in recent years, you have a long while of Adidas kits, because the Daily Record is reporting that Adidas and Celtic have signed a 10-year extension. That's right, not a couple of years on top of the current deal to top it up, not another 5-year contract, a 10-year extension. So Celtic will be provided their home, away and third shirts by Adidas for the next 10 years. I'll be 35 by the time this deal is coming to an end. That is terrifying in itself. So, as I said, if you don't like the Adidas kits, unlucky, because you've got 10 more years of it. So, the Daily Record believe that the lucrative landmark agreement will be in excess of £30 million, in which will be a huge financial boost for the Parkhead side. So, that's a £30 million deal that has been boosted into the Celtic bank balance. A 10-year extension with one of, if not the biggest sportswear brand in the world. I wasn't expecting 10 years. Now, what I will say is that we need some clarity on this, because on the surface it sounds great, fantastic, it's a £30 million deal, it's a lot of money for the club, and when you consider the offers out there on the table, this is probably by far the best offer Celtic are going to get. It trumps anything New Balance gave us, it trumps anything Nike gave us over a decade ago. This is a magnificent deal for the club, and there's no doubt about that. So I'm not calling any of that into question, I'm not saying that the club have been ripped off or anything like that, but what I am saying is that we need clarity, because the original deal over the 5 years was apparently £25 million over 5 years. So £30 million over 10 years doesn't sound as good as what the original deal did. But apparently this is record breaking. So we're not going to hear much until I think the AGM, or until we have another quarterly financial report where they might shed some insight into things. But 30 million, still a huge sum of money, great amount of money, for God's sake. It's for them to make our kits, and of course Celtic then make more money with the more kits they sell, etc. Yeah, I'm just very confused over the whole 30 million thing over 10 years, because it doesn't seem like it's exactly in excess of anything if you break that down over a 10-year period. At the end of the day, the club will make millions from the original contract that's put down, and on bonus the sales on top of it. The amount of lines that Adidas sell now is probably the reason why Celtic are so keen to stay with them, because it's not only about a home, away and third shirt anymore. It's about the training gear. It's about the fourth shirt that they bring out every St. Patrick's Day. It's about the special releases that you get yearly. It's about the one-off collections. It's about the retro throwbacks. And now with Celtic becoming an elite club, there's going to be so much more. So you think of the millions Celtic are set to bankroll off the back of all of these launches and releases. It's going to amount to so much more than what is just put on paper right now. It's a fantastic deal for the club. It is undoubtedly the best that's going to be out there for us as well. And it's once again Celtic flexing the financial muscle that they have. So put all your opinions aside to one moment of whether or not you like the Adidas shirts or not. This is huge for Celtic. Merchandise income from the financial year, the last financial year, was 30.1 million alone at Celtic, which is more than what we have just signed on with in terms of the money Adidas give us. So, crazy. Absolutely crazy. And don't get me wrong, majority of that comes from Adidas being robbing bastards, but it's huge for the club. Absolutely huge. So, let's have a look at the leaked kit, shall we? So here it is, in all of its glory. I use glory tentatively. I've still to form my final opinions on this shirt. It's going to take more than a leaked image of it hanging up somewhere behind the scenes in a Celtic shop. But the tartan Celtic hoops have arrived. We've heard it was going to be a tartan shirt for the longest time now. This follows of course, the leaked images of the away shirt from next season. Yeah, there it is. I don't hate it. I certainly don't hate it. I don't love it either. It's similar to how the shirt was for the 2023-24 season with the black. I don't like the black. I don't feel like it belongs in a Celtic shirt. I think that they could change that to silver again, maybe even just keep it white or green. I just don't like the black. That's what throws me off. Everything else about this shirt I'm fine with. The collar's fine. I like the tartan through the hoops. It's something a wee bit different. It kind of gives me a throwback to the 2011-12 home shirt, or 2010-11 home shirt when it had the 1888 through the hoops. I don't hate it. I want to see more images of it, but it's the black that throws me off, man. I don't like that. But what I will say is, and I don't know if it's Dafabet that does this, I'm now starting to convince myself it's Dafabet more than anything that ruins shirts. It's once again just slightly underwhelming, and that's my issue with Adidas. Hasn't been that the kits have been horrible or terrible or anything like that. Some have. Absolutely, some have. It's just that some of them have been underwhelming more than anything when we know the standards that Adidas have and you see other clubs and whatnot. And I think that's the word I would use for most kits. But I don't hate this. I certainly don't hate it. What can you do with green and white hoops at the end of the day? I don't envy the head of creative at Celtic's Adidas partnership, because you can't do too much without being crucified. We've seen what happened a couple of years ago. So it's not an easy job. But I don't hate this. I certainly think when the full kit images come out, I'll really like it. But we'll just have to wait and see. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And finally for today, we need to talk about a wee rumour that has started online about Dyson Maeda. That's right, Celtic star man and undoubtedly player of the year in Scotland this season. The transfer rumours have started. We've been waiting for this, and some big boys are being floated around his name. Quite scary, but let's have a look, shall we? Sasha Pisani is reporting that Liverpool and Arsenal are among, that's right, among, not just one or two, apparently a few, among a host of Premier League clubs showing interest in Celtic star Dyson Maeda. Now, this is according to TBR Football. He has come into his own this season. A joy to watch him grow after arriving from Yokohama F. Marinos. You might recognise Sasha Pisani, who was a journalist that really came to the forefront of reporting in the Ange Postecoglou era because of his links in Australia and of course in the Japanese game as well, but mostly in Australia. A lot of what he reported was reliable, was decent. What I will say is he's credited another source here, TBR Football, 13,500 followers, not huge. If you go and check their account, there's nothing to suggest here that they are bang on the money, that they're a source that you should be relying on. And especially when you hear clubs like Liverpool and Arsenal looking at Celtic players, usually that would call for extreme. You know, that's like, whoa. That's a big thing to suggest, but here is the article here from TBR Football about it. In their article, they also report that Dyson is uncertain over his future. They say the Celtic star who is uncertain over his future. Now, that is mostly down to the fact that he hasn't put pen to paper on this rumoured contract yet, so they're speculating about that. Dyson Maeda makes difficult comment about Celtic future. They bring up what he said in Sky Sports, saying he wasn't sure. It's a difficult question. He wants to fit in and play and fight to play for Celtic and keep focused on playing for the team. So they're using that as the sort of ammunition to suggest that he's not 100% committed to Celtic in his future. But that's the nature of the beast. That's what happens as soon as a player makes a comment that isn't 100% solidified. That allows publications to create speculation. So yeah, apparently there is Premier League sides interested. Graham Bailey understands that Maeda is emerging as a target for a number of Premier League clubs. Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea and Tottenham have all watched the Celtic forward this year, and it's hard to imagine that they haven't been impressed. So yeah, I have no doubts in my mind clubs are watching Dyson. You can't sit down anywhere in this world, whether it's in England, Bundesliga, Serie A, wherever, and not acknowledge that there's a player playing as well as him, because he wasn't just doing it in their league, he was doing it in Europe as well, and that's going to catch the eye of people, and that's just natural. So we need to wait and see where this one goes. I hope sooner rather than later we hear that he's put pen to paper on a Celtic contract. But let's not pretend things are all rosy, because the longer we wait for that, the more nervy it's going to get, and the more likely it could be that a move it might be in the offing for him. Do I think it'll be to Liverpool or Arsenal? I'm not so sure about that. But there is obviously going to be interest. You can't play that well and not gather interest, so don't be ignorant and say that it's entirely nonsensical, because it's obviously not. Do I believe that it's to Arsenal Liverpool? Maybe that's a wee bit more on the side of bullshit. But people are going to be watching. That's just the nature of the beast. So that does it for today. If you have enjoyed, please make sure to hit like and subscribe. Let me know everything that you think about what we've talked about today down in the comments. I'll be back tomorrow with the Celtic the Thunder to preview the derby on Sunday. So until then, please take care of yourselves. Play nice in the comments as well, and I'll see you all next time.